support of Resolution 678.
Aloha, my name is Eugene Elmer, and I wanted to say aloha to the ladies and gentlemen of the County Council. Thank you for your time and careful consideration in this very serious matter that we are testifying on today. I am wholeheartedly in support of County Council Resolution 678-20 that was introduced by Matt Keanali'i Feinfelder. Mahalo, Matt. There is mountains of research showing that wireless 5G is a detrimental and harmful technology to both our natural environment and the ecosystems here in Hawaii, as well as to our human biology. Wireless 5G is presently being banned in not only many towns and cities in the United States, but also in an increasing number of countries worldwide. Before you decide to proceed with this rollout, you owe it to your constituents to thoroughly research what's happening nationally and worldwide. I moved to Kona in 1977 and have deep roots here on the Big Island. This island is precious to my island ohana and to me. Please recognize and respect our right to peaceful and quiet enjoyment of nature and adopt this resolution. Please adopt this resolution and protect the Big Island from the irreparable harm that wireless 5G will cause. Ask yourself this question: will I be able to live with myself should this be as harmful as thousands of highly educated people say? The answer to that is yes, you will be able to live with yourselves. It will just be a much shorter life plagued by the sicknesses that come from the detrimental effects of 5G on our biology and our island's ecology. Mahalo for your careful consideration in this decision. Mahalo for adopting this resolution. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Elmer. Testifier in Hilo, go ahead.
Okay, next we have Ikaika Rodenhurst. Maybe.
Yes, sir. Aloha Planning Committee. Mahalo for this opportunity to speak before you today. My name is Ikaika Rodenhurst, and I am here to offer comments on Resolution 678 as a concerned resident and engineer. When I first heard of 5G coming to our Kurdistan community, I was happy to see progress in connectivity come to our rural area. I understand some in our community fear assumed adverse health effects caused by the 5G devices and structures. We should always consider the safety of our families and environment when making improvements to our community. New technology will inherently lack long-term studies, so review and confirmation of the established sciences paired with consistent monitoring of the technology in action will provide us with data on how it affects us. We can debate back and forth on those all day, but the fact remains that there is no conclusive evidence that this technology will cause adverse health effects within the current safety parameters. What is evident is the direct improvements to our lives provided by this technology. Prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, our community was desperate for reliable internet and cellular service. This same sentiment was magnified as we were thrust into a world where virtual connectivity takes precedence to physical interaction. 5G can provide our community with easier access to healthcare, to education, and to employment. It is a game changer for our first responders in providing communication systems that are unaffected by normal communications traffic. This saves precious time, especially in life or death situations. I remember during the earthquake in 2006, I was unable to contact my family and confirm their safety due to the high cellular traffic of others attempting the same. It was more than an inconvenience. It was nerve-wracking. I ask that the council support the implementation of 5G and or other digital infrastructure. This is our opportunity to get our community better connected to the rest of the state and world. Puna has been left behind and left out of the loop for too long. Opposition to this technology would only put us further behind. I want the place I chose to raise my family to have opportunities for my generation, for my children's generation, and future generations. Thank you for your time and the opportunity to be heard. Mahalo.
Thank you, Mr. Rodenhurst. Testifier in Kona. Go ahead.
Our next testifier is Sheryl Ann Wells in support of Resolution 678-20. State your name for the record.
My name is Sheryl Ann Wells, and I am here in support of the resolution. I have 2 recommendations and an award to confer. First, if you have not already done so, please immediately begin networking with other municipalities in the United States who are pushing back against the 5G juggernaut, which is military weapons technology with no health studies. There is power in numbers, and innovative ideas often arise, approaches that have proved successful elsewhere, but which we have not yet tried when we enter into dialogue. These municipalities can be identified via the Environmental Health Trust's extensive list, and I have brought a copy of that website's page. Second, in the Ninth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals, a lawsuit against the FCC has been filed as of February for its refusal to update its 25-year-old health guidelines. I have a full copy of that petition, which engages in review of the FCC's order. Many others have joined in support of this lawsuit. We should join in or support this action in any and all ways at our disposal. They are addressing the very thing that lies at the heart of injustice, the failure of the FCC to place any import on documented health impacts to the public and anyway, to the environment as well. And finally, but far from least, I'm here to confer an award. In 2010, at the Vancouver Peace Conference, the Dalai Lama made a statement where he indicated that Western women will save the world. Therefore, as a member of that group, I would like to induct Mr. Kane Ali'i Kleinfelder as an honorary member of the female gender in recognition of his courage, his compassion and concern, and his far-sighted understanding of this critical issue. He is a visionary leader, and we need a lot more like him.
Summary.
All right. In summary, I would just like to say that the essence of public health and safety is predicated on us knowing before we proceed with something that there is safety for the public involved. This has never been the case with 5G, as this lawsuit is proving in a federal court. So please join with the rest of us who do not want to be guinea pigs, but who would rather wait and see the studies performed before any further action is allowed. Mahalo.
Thank you, Ms. Wells. We'll take the testifier in Hilo.
Okay, next up we have Mara Stevens. Aloha, and thank you to my dear friend Sheryl Ann, who just gave an excellent testimony. Everyone here in Hilo is applauding you. And I'm also here to speak in favor of this resolution submitted by Kaneali'i Kleinfelder, and I thank him so much for bringing this issue to the table for all of us to hear. And I think hearing and listening is of the utmost importance. We need to listen to our souls, to the island, to the keiki, to the kapuna, as we really think about investigating more deeply this very dangerous technology. We're not against technology, but we need to do the research, and there's plenty of it. Former president of Microsoft in Canada, the industry leader Frank Clegg, did an excellent video on this, giving great, concise information about the statistics, most mentioning the lack of safety studies. None have been done by telecom companies or the FCC companies at all. No safety studies have been done. These companies have no doctors on their staff, only executives, lawyers, and engineers. Safety has not been studied or proven. The FCC guideline, as Sheryl Ann just said, are over 20 years outdated. Even China and Sweden, Russia, and Italy have 100 times safer guidelines. Also, the FCC is self-regulating. They are self-policing. So they have no oversight guidelines at all. They have over 500 lobbyists, though, in government, and they spend millions of dollars on marketing every year. So there is no liability, and a 1996 Telecom Act prevents lawsuits over health issues from these products, which are estimated that there'll be 60 devices per person by 2030. There are many proven health issues. There's at least 230 scientists and researchers in 41 countries who have formally written to the UN, the WHO, the World Health Organization, and European health government leaders with reports of health dangers, asking the FCC to prove safety before rolling out. Cancer, heart arrhythmia, insomnia, headaches, fatigue, heart palpitations, permanent DNA damage, autism, diabetes, all which have increased dramatically in the last 30 years. There's excellent videos on this, takebackyourpower.net and theconsciousresistance.com, 5G, the Trojan horse. I highly recommend that you watch all of this information and learn about the dangers of 5G technology. Mahalo.
Thank you, Ms. Stevens. We'll take the testifier in Kona.
Our next testifier is Mary Colton in support of Resolution 678-20. Go ahead and state your name for the record.
Aloha, my name is Mary Colton, and I'm submitting my testimony in support of Resolution 678-20 in opposition to 5G. With gargantuan profits to be made, it is no surprise how the truth about 5G has been withheld. When the telecommunications industry revolutionized internet technology, we all blindly accepted its introduction, no questions asked. No studies were conducted prior, and it took off like nothing seen before. The effects of man-made electromagnetic frequency on the natural biology of the human being and all other life forms was unknown. We engaged blindly trusting. Big telecom follows big tobacco, follows big pharma, follows banks too big to fail, and the destruction carries on at our demise while their profit margins increase. Everybody owns a cell phone and a Wi-Fi wireless router. You're bathed in wireless electromagnetic frequency all day, every day. Although you cannot see it with the naked eye, it exists at all times, pulsing through you and around you. The 5G wave is called a millimeter wave. Small cells or low power base stations will need to be added around any city or region to ensure coverage. These small cells may also be combined with other technology called beamforming. Beamforming is hyper-focused signal aimed at each cell user within the cell area. You, the cell user, are the target aimed at. Its origin is military high-frequency beam weaponry known as stealth warfare. Human-engineered electromagnetic wave frequency weaponry designed to point and target, harm, and kill. These devices run counter to the health and safety of microwave-injured veterans, human lab rats, and the general public. Statistics report these symptoms are connected: insomnia, tinnitus, headaches, fatigue, depression, irritability, inability to concentrate, ADHD, exhaustion syndrome, anxiety disorders, back joint muscle disorder, depression, functional somatic syndrome, and migraines. The results provide ground for future study of these characteristics, features being risk factors for development of electromagnetic sensitivity. The U.S. government is tasked with promoting the general welfare of the people and ought to bring about much needed safety and health regulations that have been missing from the implementation of 5G. These devices are immune suppressors and frankly shouldn't even be legal to use.
Please summarize.
Finish up. Could this military weaponry be responsible for all the hostility, unrest, violence, and indifference we see rampant like never before in the world today? Are the mental health issues increasing in capacity and quantity at the speed of light due to EMF new to our environment, never tested prior? Could this be what is responsible for the present condition of a world gone mad? Use your free will as it was intended and demand answers to these questions that affect your health and well-being.
Thank you, Ms. Colton. We'll take the testifier in Hilo.
Next up, we have Donna Herbst.
Hello, my name is Donna Herbst. I'm speaking in favor of the resolution 678-20. I would like to thank Mr. Kalani, I did it wrong, Matt Kleinfelder, and I'd like to thank him for bringing this issue to the table for all to hear. My residence is located on Kumubina Street in Hilo, which backs to a 3-acre pasture area by the Life Care Center of Hilo. Just on the other side of the Life Care Center and another 100 yards sits the large pine tree disguised cell tower, which has been at this location for well over a year. Our neighborhood was never notified of this before it suddenly appeared. The cell tower was always a visual annoyance since day one, but now in the past 3-4 months, we have had a constant whir noise that was never there before. Neighbors in the area have noticed it, and if you drive up to the gate and listen when there's no traffic going by, you'll hear the noise. It kind of sounds like a whir. So I have this at my window by the bedroom, and I would invite anybody to come and stay the night in my bedroom and listen to that sound, because now I've had to move to the other side of the house, so I have 3 walls separating it, and I can't hear that. But it's been a horrible thing to have to do. I can't sleep at night with that noise. So I imagine the residents of Life Care are not too annoyed by it. When they're being elderly, most don't have a keen sense of hearing, but what the radioactivity of the tower is doing to them and others within the 500-foot radius is invisible. There needs to be further study done on all aspects of health of the young and the old. According to the mapping available online, we have 11 towers on this island that can be converted to 5G. The tower I speak of is the main tower in Hilo. We have another one in Kaiviki, as well as 2 on the Hamakua coast, 1 in Nalehu, and 6 more on the Kona coast. To read more on this, I urge you all to visit the 5gcrisis.com site. That's 5gcrisis.com. Again, that's 5gcrisis.com. Webster's dictionary now has a new word. It's called microwave sickness. It is actually a word in the dictionary. The medical definition of microwave sickness is a condition of impaired health, reported especially in the Russian medical literature, that is characterized by headaches, anxiety, sleep disturbances, fatigue, and difficulty in concentrating, and by changes in the cardiovascular and central nervous systems.
30 seconds.
And it is held to be caused by the prolonged exposure to the low-intensity microwave radiation. There are countries in the world that have already banned the introduction of 5G because they know the health risks are real. Microwave sickness is real. If this elephant does land on us, we need to be proactive and not reactive. There's a lot of cities that have taken steps, and we need to look at them. We need to know that our Hawaii island, most of all, is a choice that we have to thoroughly study and understand what the potential effects are before leading our people and this relatively untouched land into the new norm that the technological world has brought in. We don't need to have the speed of Wall Street or the capacity to run Johns Hopkins and Mayo clinics. We have been fine all along, even before 4G was implemented. We are an island. We are unique. We should be able to remain an island. No other state can have that chance. Let us stay a healthy island. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Herbst. Let's go to the testifier in Kona.
Okay, our next testifier is Michael Salaria in support of Reso 678-20. State your name for the record.
My name is Michael Silveria. 240 scientists from 41 countries have issued a declaration and sent it to the United Nations called the 5G Appeal, calling for a moratorium on the increase of 5G cell antennas, citing human health effects and impacts on wildlife. Despite widespread denial, evidence that radio frequency radiation is harmful to life is actually overwhelming. The scientific clinical evidence, damage to DNA cells, organ systems in a wide variety of plants and animals, and evidence that cancer, heart disease, and diabetes are in large part caused by electromagnetic pollution, which 5G is, forms a literature base of well over 10,000 peer-reviewed studies. If you say there's no proof, you have not taken the time to study it. If 5G systems come to our island, no person on our land will be able to avoid exposure 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, to levels of RF radiation that are tens to hundreds of times greater than what exists today. These 5G plans threaten to provoke serious, irreversible disease on humans and permanent damage to the ecosystems. As GQ magazine reported, the telecom industry uses the same lobbying, PR strategies and consultants that were used to promote tobacco after it was well known that tobacco was deadly. Like the tobacco industry, the telecom industry uses disinformation in defense of their dangerous and addictive products. But the RF radiation is many more hundreds of times dangerous than tobacco, and you cannot choose whether you are exposed to it or not. In 2015, a Harvard expose tracked the revolving door between the FCC and the telecom industry and concluded that the FCC is a representative of the telecom industry. Consumer safety, health, and privacy have been overlooked, sacrificed, and harmed due to unchecked industry influences. Ali Pai, who is the chairman of the FCC, worked as a lawyer with a 2-year stint as an in-house lawyer for Verizon Communications. The Telecommunications Act of 1996 was nearly written by and for the telecom industry to protect them from the harm done by the dangers of wireless radiation. Just because it's a bill is made through the efforts and money of telecom lobbying does not make it acceptable to kill our ohana and our children. The wireless companies have a consultant group now hired called Capital Consulting of Hawaii. From their website, it reads, "We help our clients successfully navigate Hawaii's governmental and regulatory landscape by leveraging our networks and relationships with elected officials and government administrators. With an intimate understanding and deep network within Hawaii's communities, we are your connection to government," and so much more. What does that mean? Does that mean they have the ability for corrupting our government officials? Are any of our council members part of this capital consulting relationship and network to influence elected officials and government administrators? If so, please do remember your children, your ohana's health, and the life of the land itself are at risk from the way you vote. And I pray you find the courage to put our safety before profit, because in the eyes of God, Keakua are watching. This pattern of profit over life must stop, and you must be willing to stop it right here and right now. If you want to learn more about the actual scientific evidence, please take the time to educate yourself, not from the telecommunication industry. They will not educate you. They will tell you there's no proof, which is absolutely 100% false.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Silveria. Let's go to Hilo.
Okay, next up we have Roger Christie.